Stop scrolling. Let's have a conversation about a correcting market in Coweta County and Fayette County, Georgia, and what that actually looks like for you as a buyer. I was sitting in a meeting with somebody today, and I mentioned we're in a correction market, that we are correcting in our county, which is Coweta County, Georgia, Newnan, Moreland, Sonoy, Sharpsburg, Grantville, those areas. And they were like, oh, well, what does a correction mean? And I said, well, everyone's been waiting on the market to crash. It's 2008. People think the market's going to crash. Everybody's been waiting. What is the truth about this market correction? What does that look like for Coweta County residents and buyers, especially in Coweta County right now? Listen, we are seeing multiple offers still. Where are we seeing these multiple offers? On houses that are impeccable. Houses that are coming to the market with a realistic value, that look amazing, that have been staged, that have features that other houses that are in the inventory right now do not have. We are still seeing multiple offers. But what people don't really know is the correction that we are having right now is happening, and buyers are able to work with this. The correction is we are balancing ourselves back out on home values. If you followed any of my videos, you know that I do talk about and have talked about how the buyers pushed these prices up during those post-pandemic years when people were lined up outside the house for an open house, 5,000 people trying to get in there and 27,000 offers, right? The sellers didn't really have to do anything. The sellers put the house on the market, the buyers drove the price up, and what happened was, over so many years of time, these prices just have rose astronomically. Buyers feel the pressure of that today. They feel like their houses are unaffordable, that there isn't anything affordable out there for them. I want to debunk that myth, because we are in a correction. This is a good thing. This is positive for our market and for us to recover. So why am I calling it a correction? So I'm calling it a correction because we are no longer, every house in a $300,000 price point is no longer going off the market in 2 days. I am working a lot of expired listings. These are listings that have been on the market. You can see my computer right now. These are listings that have been on the market in the last however many days, and these listings ended up going expired. I'll just show you for an example. If I go into the MLS and, oh, I kind of got logged out of there, but we're going into the MLS, and what I'm doing is I want to look at the expired listings in Coweta County, and I just want to tell you what happens within let's go back 90 days. So residential properties, what we want, we're going to uncheck all active, and we're going to look at just expired listings. We're going to go in Coweta County. So just in Coweta County, and we're going to go back, let's go back to April the 1st. In Coweta County, just Coweta County, expired listings 122 since April the 1st. Now, if I add Fayette County in there, 246. So 246 listings expired in Coweta County and Fayette, Georgia. And what happens to those expireds? Well, usually they needed a price reduction, or condition was the problem, or location was the problem. And these were 246 sellers that put their homes on the market expecting a contract and did not get one. These are great opportunity for us to go back to some of these. If we're not seeing houses on the market that we love, we can always go back and see if some of these expired listings ever ended up sold. But when there is so many expired listings, that's a supply and a demand issue. There is a lot of supply and not enough demand. So why does this correction help a buyer? So what happens is sellers realize that their numbers may be off some. And it could be for multiple reasons. So all of my buyer contracts that I'm having right now, they're not coming in $30,000 below list price, not $40,000. That's a huge difference. They are coming in a little bit below list price. Buyers are able to win things such as closing cost, repairs. People are getting roofs. People weren't getting roofs before. People were buying houses with no roof, practically falling off, giving away their, firstborn child to win that house to get a 2.5% interest rate. Crazy, I know, but that is what was going on. So the reason the correction is good for my buyers, for you as a buyer, is because we get to go back into a normal market that was pre-pandemic. Back when houses took 60, 90, 120 days to sell, they didn't fly off the market, gives you the ability as a buyer to think about what you're doing. To think about, do I want to put an offer on 123 Banana Street, or should we go pop over to 456 Sesame Street and maybe put an offer in over there instead? I mean, let's go compare these houses, apples to apples, and hey, Cherie, would you run some comps on these houses? Before, it didn't matter what people would do. We didn't have time to run comps. We didn't have time to do anything like that. We had to write the offer, right? We had to get that offer over to the seller. Now, we're watching the property values adjust. I just recently did a video about tax assessments, and you have until like August the 8th or August the 9th to argue that with the tax assessor's office if you think it's too high and make your taxes too high. But we have seen those tax bills come out in Coweta County just drastically different in value. And people were so upset with that. I think 2 years ago, I really saw people just really angry about that. Here's the positive thing about this correction is that we're getting to see more of what a realistic value is. And that's because we have had enough months now, enough time now, because see, it took years for those values to raise like it did, right? So it's going to take years for those values to get back normal again. Listen, if you're waiting on the market to just crash and there's going to be a $600,000 house and you're going to be able to get it for $350,000, I think you're going to be waiting forever. You need to look at the data, pull up historical data, and see that we've never been in a market where we saw prices drastically like that other than 2008. And here's the thing that's different today than what was 2008 is we didn't have lending regulations tight like we do today. So today our lending regulations avoid that from even happening. So we just have too many homeowners with equity in their houses. Now, I'm not going to say that I have 2 houses on my board right now that they do not have any equity in them. And they need someone to come in and just get them out of that loan. I have a short sale that we should be closing at the end of the month. It took us 3 months to get here. they are short of what they can sell the property for, so they're going in that direction. These are all things that are part of this correcting market. If you purchased your house 2 years ago, 3 years ago, now is not the time to sell it. If you are in a position that you absolutely have to sell it, you need, give me a call. I can guide and direct you on what a short sale looks like and why you want to do that versus trying to do something like a foreclosure or deed in lieu, whatever. You don't want to do that either, because that's going to really affect your future in not just purchasing another home, but renting. Any type of foreclosure is going to fall on your credit score, and that can affect you with renting a new home. So this correction is just really a positive thing. It's a positive thing. The market is not crashing. It is not crashing. We are seeing a lot of price reductions. We are seeing a lot of concessions. We are seeing a lot of sellers are finally understanding that whatever Joe sold his house for 3 years ago is irrelevant. It just really is. We can only look at the last 6 months. We can't go that far back and expect that our value is the same, because the market was different. The economy was different. The stock market was different. There was just so many things that were different at that time. So it's really, it's beneficial to be realistic about value, but you as a buyer have a lot of control right now. You have a lot of ability to go out there, shop, find the right home that fits for your family, negotiate a really good solid offer with the right realtor on your side. You just have a lot of power, and it's really a positive thing. And the sellers know, like, if they're watching the market and if their agent is informing them of price reductions and how long it's taken days on market and things to close, then the sellers really understand, like, hey, I have an offer in front of me. I need to really take this offer, and I need to make sure that I am moving forward with this buyer and getting, let's try to get this buyer to the closing table. Let's get a good inspection back. Let's negotiate repairs. Let's fix some stuff. I'm just really excited about what's to come. I think the last quarter of 2026 is going to be a strong quarter. I think with environment changing nationally, we're going to see things adjusting here in the Coweta County area. We've always had a really strong housing market here. I think we've had a lot of buyers, especially like after the 4th of July. I see people backing up a little bit because the kids are getting in school. This is really kind of a lull period when the kids are trying to get back in school. Parents are wanting to be settled wherever they're at, just because it's about to get crazy and hectic with kids back in school. It's usually right after Labor Day we're going to see things pick back up again on the buy side. So even if you're thinking about putting your house on the market right now, it's okay if it's taking you a little bit longer to get it ready. Nothing to be scared of, unless you really just have to make that move. So I wanted to get on here and talk about the correction, especially in Coweta County, because I've gotten a couple of people, I've had a couple of people talk to me about that. And, I can see it in the numbers. And if you want to know more about the numbers, if you love data, if you want to know, price per square foot, whatever that is on your home's value, definitely reach out, comment below. I'm more than happy to do a free analysis on your home and let you see like what exactly is going on that side of things. But anyways, we're not crashing. The market's not crashing. The market is still strong. Be very careful at who you listen to locally or from the national news. The national news is overall statistics. And listen, I got agents that are up in north of the states and like Massachusetts, Boston, things like that. There's still a strong market up there. And then You go to Texas and it is flat. It is flat. Houses ain't moving. So it depends where you live. Our market in Coweta County is still a strong market. We still have great buys happening. We are still closing deals every single day. Be careful who you're getting your information from. It is important to get information from a realtor that knows the market, that understands what the numbers are saying, that are closing deals, that are working every day with buyers and sellers, that are having these conversations with other agents, not just local agents, but agents all over the country, that knows what is happening. Education is so important, especially with the realtor that you choose to work with. So, my name is Cherie Macaroni. I'm super grateful for you to watch this video. If you need me, my number is 229-563-3116. Continue to watch videos, hit the like, subscribe button so you can know when I post more videos and tell you more about what's going on in the Coweta County market. Other than that, I will see you on the next video. Oh yeah, pay attention to some of my newest videos because we got some really great listings coming to the market. Talk soon.